Come see your kids. Alright, finally I can see him. Oh my god, don't tell me you. Chen Molly, you stop right there. You tell me, whose child is this? Why does he look just like that baby elephant? Honey, let's talk nicely. I really don't know what's going on. As you can see, that baby just now was me. My parents were the undisputed campus belle and heartthrob in college. Logically, their son should have been handsome and charming. But instead, I'm 2 meters tall, look extremely fierce, and don't seem like a good person at all. All of this is because I activated a Hunk system. As long as I complete system tasks, I get corresponding rewards. Rewards are coming. This is great. At first I was happy, but soon I got depressed, because every reward from the system just enhances my muscles. So although I only look slightly big, my muscle density is already terrifying. Impossible, right? So much. Kisses. When it comes to fighting, I don't even need to throw a punch. Just smashing my fist into the wall beside me scares everyone away. But the downside is, I have no friends. That guy is so scary. Let's go the other way. Don't go near him. As for dating, that's even more impossible. Girls avoid me like I'm a demon. Right now, I'm on my way to register for university. Even though the subway car is packed, only my section has few people, and that's all because I'm standing here. No one dares to come near. I'm 2 meters tall, my muscles are about to burst out of my extra-large shirt, and my biceps and forearms are thicker than a woman's waist. Add to that my fairly friendly-looking face, and anyone who gets close to me trembles from just one gentle look from me. But actually, I just turned 18. Inside, I'm still just a little boy. At that moment, in the car I'm in, a cute little girl stares at me for a few seconds, and her mother quickly pulls her behind her back. Oh my, you little treasure, you really dare to look? Aren't you afraid that uncle will grab you and eat you up? I hear this and force a bitter smile. I'm a little helpless inside, but I don't say anything. I've heard this kind of thing so many times, my ears are about to grow calluses. Who's to blame for me not looking like a good person? Just then my phone beeps. I open it and see a message from an online friend, labeled Sissy Boy. Tough guy. What time are you getting to university? I'm on subway line 2. 5 more stops to school. What? Line 2? 5 more stops? This friend called Sissy Boy is someone I met while gaming years ago. We're both terrible at the game, but neither of us would admit it. After several solo matches with no clear winner, we became online friends. So they count as my only close friend of the past 5 years. But we've never met in person, not even exchanged photos. I just figured since we're both guys, getting along in conversation is enough. The reason I gave them this nickname is because I think they talk too effeminately. Just as I'm about to ask why they sound so surprised, the system notification rings in my head. Host, please note, in car 3, a young girl is about to be secretly filmed by a repeat pervert. Please go stop it. Reward, 10,000 Longwo coins. I get so excited that I shed tough guy tears. 10 years, 10 whole years. The system has finally given a cash reward instead of giving me more chicken meat. Then I excitedly walk toward car 3. As I pass, the crowds of people around me automatically part, not daring to get close, instantly clearing a wide path for me. Meanwhile, in car 3, Chen Molly is looking at her phone, her face slightly red, her heart beating much faster. She didn't expect that tough guy would also be on this subway. What if they run into each other at the school gate? She's not ready to meet yet. Then Chen Molly thinks back over the past 5 years. Tough guy has always been there for her, even if only online, and has truly brought her a lot of help, especially during the most stressful period of high school. Without tough guy nagging and comforting and encouraging her, who knows if she would have gotten into Ningbei University. On second thought, tough guy is about to become her little junior, which makes Chen Molly very happy. So she sends a message on her phone. Little junior, hurry to school, your senior will protect you. But just as she finishes typing and is about to send it, she suddenly feels a very disgusting presence. She notices that a sleazy middle-aged man has been staring at her with an evil gaze from behind and to the side, constantly sweeping his eyes over her legs. Chen Molly thinks about just bearing with it, but the creep's phone has been vaguely aimed at her legs. Her intuition tells her he's definitely taking secret photos, and the angle is way too much. However, Chen Molly has never encountered a situation like this before. She doesn't know how to face this kind of scumbag. The creep next to her notices that he might have been discovered, but instead of panicking at all, the corner of his mouth curls into a smirk, and he moves even closer to Chen Molly. Just as he's about to aim his phone's camera at an even more private area, a deep voice slowly sounds from behind him. "Pervert, you've lived this long, have you lived like an animal?" The creep's face changes instantly. With lightning speed, he presses the lock button on his phone, and smoothly shoves it into his pocket. The motion is very fluid. He's clearly a repeat offender. Then the creep starts defending himself without turning his head, saying that without evidence, I shouldn't falsely accuse him. He's been through this before. Even if someone asks him to hand over his phone, he's not worried, because he has another phone hidden in his pocket. Just as he's about to pull out this trick of substituting one thing for another, the next moment, he flies into the air. I pick him up like a chick. As the train pulls into the station, I throw him out of the car. The creep lands on the platform floor, wincing in pain. He tries to get up and curse at me, but when he sees me clearly, 2 meters tall, fierce eyes, terrifying face, the next second he instinctively starts begging for mercy. He's terrified. He thinks some hitman has mistaken him for someone and come to kill him. Then he suddenly shudders and faints dead away on the spot. The scene goes completely silent. Every passenger stares at me in shock. Then a voice as quiet as a mosquito sounds behind me. Thank you. Are you hurt?" Just as I've dealt with the pervert who is secretly filming the girl and am about to leave, 2 subway security guards stop me. They see my size and freeze on the spot, instinctively assuming that this fierce giant was bullying the middle-aged man. But they don't dare to touch me either. Just as I'm about to explain, a girl's figure steps in front of me. Don't misunderstand. That creep was secretly filming me on the subway, and this big guy stepped in to help me and threw him off the train. It's Chen Molly. She hesitates for several seconds, then gathers the courage to stand in front of me like a human-shaped bear, blocking the judgmental looks from others. This feels strange to me, because it's the first time someone has stood in front of me. Then, while Chen Molly is explaining what happened to the security guards, I turn and quietly slip away. When Chen Molly snaps back to reality, she finds that I'm already gone. She had mustered the courage to properly thank me, but she didn't expect that big bear to have left on his own. Later, when I arrive at the gate of Ningbei University, many seniors are there welcoming new students. Especially those good-looking and sweet-faced juniors are extra popular. But the moment I step onto campus, the entire place goes silent. Everyone's eyes show terror. The 2 security guards at the gate also notice something unusual. They follow the crowd's gaze and shudder. What do we do? What can we do? Get your weapon ready. Facing the pressure of losing their jobs, the 2 guards force themselves to walk over and loudly warn me that this is a university and outside people are not allowed to enter casually. I look at them and notice that although their expressions are fierce, their legs are trembling from time to time. I shake my head helplessly. I'm already used to this kind of misunderstanding, so I tell them that I'm a student here, but the 2 guards don't believe me at all. They say outright that I look like a fierce fugitive on the run, and if they let a violent criminal like me onto campus, a tragedy would surely happen. Hearing this, I don't waste words. I just take out my acceptance letter. The 2 guards stare at it, dumbfounded. Now they have to believe that this muscular tough guy is only 18 years old and a freshman at Ningbei University. Then they apologize and let me go, but I haven't walked far when I stop, because I forgot to ask where the freshman registration office is. Just as I turn to ask the 2 guards, they both run back into their guard booth and hide, not daring to look at me. Right then, a breathless, graceful figure runs up from behind. "Why are you walking so fast? I couldn't catch up with you." Before I can speak, her eyes land directly on the acceptance letter in my hand. She pauses, then formally says, "Let me introduce myself. My name is Chen Molly. I'm a sophomore at Ningbei University. Thank you very much for what you did on the subway today. So let me show you to freshman registration." I'm stunned. I didn't expect that this senior's name is exactly the same as my mother's, but I don't say what I'm thinking. I just agree to let her guide me. On the way to the freshman registration office, I look at the girl in front of me and feel a bit surprised. Normally, after someone sees me once, they rarely come near me again, but this girl isn't afraid of me at all. Along the way, many people recognize this campus beauty and want to say hello, but when they see that a bear-like giant is following her, they quickly withdraw their attention. After all, they're just college students. Where would they have seen anyone with such a terrifying aura like mine? When we reach the door of the registration office, Chen Molly tells me that once I go in, there will be a teacher to receive me. I nod. Then Chen Molly says sincerely, thank you. If you hadn't stepped in today, some disgusting videos might have appeared online in a few days. Even though she's already out of danger, thinking about what happened still makes her heart race. She's heard of several incidents like that. In the end, those girls either got depression or dropped out and moved to another city. Then Chen Molly seems to think of something and says, Lu Ran, let me borrow your phone for a second. During our earlier conversation, she learned my name. Without thinking much, I hand her my phone. Chen Molly takes it, dials a phone number, then returns it. That's my phone number and also my social account. If you don't understand anything at school in the future, you can ask me anytime. I nod on the surface, but inside I don't take it seriously. I've never liked bothering others. Then I walk into the registration office. Chen Molly blinks her pretty eyes, feeling a bit odd. It's been a long time since a guy ignored her like this. This big bear really is unusual. Then she shakes her head and heads toward the girls' dormitory. After I finish my freshman registration, I arrive at my double dormitory, but I came later. When my roommate sees my face, he's shocked and barely dares to breathe. Just then the phone in my pocket rings. Tough guy, is it true that big, tall, muscular guys aren't interested in women? Upon seeing this, I immediately reply, if muscular guys don't like women, do they like men? Inside the girls' dorm, Chen Molly sits in a chair, comfortably playing with her phone. Seeing my reply, she rolls her eyes. This guy definitely answered on purpose. That's not what I meant. If you were standing in front of me, I'd definitely punch you to let off steam. You really don't need to mention it. Even if I let you use both hands, you couldn't beat me. I'm screenshotting that. By the way, it's your first day on campus. How do you like Ningbei University? Not bad. And there's something you probably wouldn't guess. I ran into the campus beauty of Ningbei University. Not only did she show me around and introduce the university, but she also gave me her phone number. In an instant, with a clattering sound, Chen Molly's phone falls to the floor like a free-falling object. She freezes as if time has stopped. She's completely incredulous. After a long while, she finally picks up her phone. Her heart is racing, her face flushed. She just said she met the campus beauty, who gave her a tour of the university and her phone number. That's exactly what she herself did, just now. Now in Chen Molly's mind, the big bear she met today and the tough guy online friend she's had good feelings for over 5 years gradually overlap. Holy crap, that's way too much of a coincidence. The usually refined Chen Molly can't help but curse. After sorting out her thoughts, she arrives at a fact. The Lu Ran who saved her on the subway is most likely the same super tough guy she's known online for years. She used to think he was bragging. 2 meters tall, can kill an ox with his bare hands. Now she realizes he really wasn't lying. Then, Chen Molly kisses her own excited, trembling little hands, and quickly types a line with a mischievous smile. Really? The campus beauty? Our campus beauty is very aloof. Why would she bother with you? Believe it or not. Anyway, I've already been exposed on the campus forum. Looks like I'm about to go viral. What? The campus forum? Chen Molly quickly opens the website and finds a post titled, Beauty and the Beast. Its popularity is already #1. Chen Molly looks at the photo and can't help but smile at the corner of her lips. Tough guy's goofy expression is so cute. This picture actually turned out pretty well. So tough guy, aside from being fierce, is actually kind of handsome. Right then, my message arrives again. So, I didn't lie to you, did I? Were you scared by my physique? You're overthinking it. How could that scare me? If we ever meet in person, I guarantee I won't be the one who's scared. But after sending the message, a minute passes with no reply from the other side. Just as Chen Molly is wondering if she should send another, a message arrives. It feels really nice not being disliked. Sissy boy, you're a friend I'll keep. If you ever run into any trouble, just tell me. I guarantee no one can bully you. Chen Molly is a bit surprised by this message. Online, the impression I gave her was of an optimistic and cheerful big boy, knowledgeable, well-traveled, and always able to think for others. But now she feels like I hardly have any friends at all, doing everything alone. Maybe my tough guy physique is just too intimidating. Then she curiously asks a question. Hey, tough guy, is the campus beauty pretty? Is she your type? After sending that message, Chen Molly's face suddenly turns red. When she hears the message notification, she doesn't check it immediately. Instead, she takes a deep breath, steels herself, and then reads it. That campus beauty? Skinny arms and legs too thin. Only her face is worth looking at. How infuriating. Lu Ran, you big bear, you big blind man, what do you mean only her face is worth looking at? I have a perfect height of 1.78 meters and weight of 48 kilograms. I have this tiny waist these long legs, clearly goddess level. Then she thinks of something and looks down at herself. These aren't small either, so it must be that big bear who's blind. Just as Chen Mali is fuming, I send another message. For goddesses, slightly chubby is YYDS. Enough chat. My roommate invited me to game together, and tonight, I'm going to eat barbecue at the school gate. Chen Mali sees this and is so angry she wants to bite someone, but she has no way to retaliate, since she hasn't confessed her identity yet. Just then, Chen Mali's roommate happens to return. Oh my, campus beauty, what's wrong? You look kind of out of it. I'm fine, don't worry. Hey, why did you help that guy find his way at noon? I really admire your courage. If it were me, I wouldn't dare get close to him. But Chen Mali seems to remember something I said, and her eyes suddenly light up. Good girlfriend, are you free tonight to go eat with me? Huh? Then at night, you take your roommate to eat barbecue. On the way, you become the coolest person on the street, turning heads the whole way. But those turned heads are all because of your looks. Most of what's in people's eyes is fear. When you arrive at the barbecue restaurant, you're dumbfounded, because there's already a line outside. K-Hao says glumly, I underestimated it. This barbecue place is way too popular. We should have come out earlier. Maybe we should try somewhere else. Hearing us, a senior queuing in front comes over to advise us, saying that we too look like freshmen, that this barbecue place is the best around, and that at this hour we'd better find somewhere else. But he stops mid-sentence and suddenly bolts away. It's because after getting a clear look at my face, he associates it with something bad. Because of this commotion, the people ahead turn around to look, and then also quickly run off, leaving behind a stunned roommate and a speechless me. Then, after we find a place to sit, a figure walks over. Hi there. Could my roommate and I join your table? There are no seats left. K-Hao looks and is shocked. It's the campus beauty, Chen Mali. She actually dares to ask to share a table with us? Hasn't she seen the human-shaped beast sitting here? Seeing that we don't respond, Chen Mali speaks again. Junior Liu, hello again. We meet again. Before I can agree, she unceremoniously sits down with her roommate, but from her roommate's expression, it's clear she's not happy about it at all. Seeing that we two dumbstruck guys aren't speaking, Chen Mali asks, what's wrong? Are we not welcome? Welcome, of course we welcome. It's our honor to eat with beautiful seniors. And so, you have your first group meal at university. Although the atmosphere starts off a bit strange, only Chen Mali occasionally tries to start a conversation with you. Later, perhaps the seniors discover that you're not as scary as you look, and everyone starts chatting happily. After a while, Chen Mali suddenly asks, what kind of girls do you guys like? Can you tell us? Hearing this, K-Hao immediately says that girls like the two seniors are the ideal type in guys' hearts. If he could find a girlfriend like them during college, his ancestors' graves would smoke with good fortune. Then Chen Mali turns to me and asks, Junior Liu, what about you? At that moment, I have a skewer of meat in my left hand and another in my right, constantly devouring. Hearing this question, I pause for 2 seconds. Why are they asking me? With my fierce and evil appearance, it'd be good enough if girls aren't scared of me. So I give a perfunctory answer, same as him. Then I continue eating. The others don't find anything special about my answer, but Chen Mali secretly glares at me. Unfortunately, I'm too busy eating with my head down to notice. Just then, the system task voice rings in my head. System detects a new task. Reform and start anew. Host, please bring the troublemaking street youths under your command and arrange a job opportunity for them. After completion, host will receive 300,000 commercial startup funds. Hearing this, I quickly look around, but don't see anything. Everyone here came to eat barbecue. What's street youths? But at that moment, a customer points at the restaurant entrance and says, look outside. Something seems to have happened. I saw the owner run out. So I tell the others to go ahead and eat, that I'll step out for a bit. Then I head outside. At the barbecue restaurant's entrance, 3 clearly ill-intentioned street youths are causing trouble. The leader, who calls himself Brother Yu, smirks and says that last time he ate at this restaurant, he found 2 cockroaches in his food and demands compensation. The barbecue owner is very helpless. He can clearly see that the guy is extorting him. If it were anyone else, he would just call the police. But this Brother Yu seems to have some connections. Last time the police came, nothing came of it. Reporting again probably wouldn't help, and might even make these people worse. So he can only accept his bad luck. Don't worry. Around here my words carry some weight in the streets. I guarantee that from now on no one will dare. But before Brother Yu can finish, A massive figure slowly walks toward him. Brother Yu sees my figure and is completely terrified. This aura? Is he serious? You said you found 2 cockroaches in their food. Are you sure? Brother Yu's eyes dart around. He doesn't dare answer, but I just snort coldly, forcing him to tell the truth. I was wrong, big brother. I admit, we put the cockroaches there ourselves. Big brother, please don't kill me. This big guy, he's telling the truth. We were just confused for a moment. We'll find a way to pay the money back right now. We won't dare do it again. If I went back, I might disturb them. Anyway, I'm fine alone. I'm used to it. So I might as well go out for a walk, just to see the area around the university. But I haven't walked far when a graceful figure comes up beside me. Junior Liu, why aren't you going back to eat barbecue? Senior, why are you here? I ask surprised. I just saw that the skewers were brought out, so I came to call you, Chen Mali casually lies. Hearing this, I reply, I suddenly don't feel like eating barbecue. I want some noodles. You go back. Don't worry about me. I don't explain further. But Chen Mali changes the subject. Great. I want some too. Let's go. I'm a bit confused. For some reason, I feel like this beautiful campus beauty I met today is a little strange. Somehow, I feel a sense of familiarity. I instinctively want to refuse, but in the end, I agree. 10 minutes later, we arrive in a small noodle shop. It's not big, and since it's almost past the meal rush, there aren't many customers. Chen Mali finds an empty seat and sits down with me. I look at her strangely. We've only known each other for a day, yet I feel like this senior has known me for a long time. After eating a few big mouthfuls, I take out my phone, think for a moment, and open the chat with Sissy Boy. Sissy Boy, are you busy? At the same time, Chen Mali feels her pocket vibrate, and sees me playing with my phone. After finishing my noodles, she seems to understand something, and quietly takes out her phone. Sure enough, it's the message I sent her. Aren't you always saying you understand girls? If 2 people have only known each other for 1 day, and the girl treats the guy to a meal, and keeps secretly glancing at him while eating, what's up with that girl? Seeing this message, Chen Mali's hand holding the phone trembles slightly. A blush instantly appears on her face. This stinky guy has such good eyesight. I only secretly looked at him a few times, and he noticed. But now the problem is, how should she reply? After thinking for a full 10 seconds, Chen Mali finally answers. If that's the case, then that girl definitely likes that guy, or she wants to chase him. As Chen Mali sends this message, her heart is pounding like a little deer, and she can't help but secretly look at me to see how I'll react. As a result, I just smear and start typing again. Were you reading a novel or something? Love at first sight? A sissy boy's understanding is always effeminate. Your answer is definitely wrong. Don't you think maybe that girl is plotting something against the guy? What? This big bear's way of thinking is a bit unusual. What could I possibly be plotting against you? Plotting against your fierce looks? Or plotting against your bear-like size? I'm so done. If she didn't have to keep her identity hidden right now, she'd really like to give me a few little punches. Chen Mali types angrily. I'm a relationship expert. Anyway, I've given you the correct answer, believe it or not. With you as a relationship expert, then I could be a love doctor. Chen Mali sees my reply and grinds her teeth in frustration. 20 minutes later, we finally come out of the noodle shop. Chen Mali walks ahead with her head down, quickly heading toward the school. I calmly follow half a meter behind her. There's no communication at all, just the sound of our footsteps. By now, Chen Mali is about to die of anger. 1 month. No. Half a month. Forget it, 1 week. She won't talk to this big bear for 1 week, neither in real life nor online. Chen Mali falls into a daze of random thoughts, but I, behind her, have already moved on from what just happened. Right now, I'm planning my 4 years of university life. With the system and this great physique, I'll definitely make these 4 years fulfilling and comfortable. Perhaps as if answering my call, the next moment, the system notification sounds again. Task refresh. Lend a helping hand. In a residential area 300 meters ahead, a child is about to fall from the 6th floor. Host, please do your best to rescue. Reward, 10 bitcoins. Seeing the task content, I can't help but pout. What the heck is a bitcoin? But before I can figure it out, I hear several voices in the distance. Help! Save the child! Oh my god, please save that child! I look up and see an apartment building not far away. A little boy is standing on the outdoor air conditioner unit on the 6th floor. It's easy to guess that he was playing by the window and accidentally fell out. Chen Mali, standing beside me, sees this, and her face is full of worry. Just as she's about to ask me what we should do, she realizes that I've already rushed quickly toward that building. The people below the building see me running toward them and are all startled. My fierce, strong physique makes them feel the earth trembling as I run. When I reach the building, I push off hard with my right foot and launch myself into the air. Then I spread my arms and grab onto the edge of a third-floor balcony. The onlookers are dumbfounded. An unbelievable thought appears in their minds. That's too strong. Oh my God, with this physique and explosive power, he's definitely not ordinary. Everyone is utterly shocked. Among them, the most shocked is Chen Mali. Is this really the super tough guy who chats with her every day? In the past, tough guy often said he had to go save people, and then went offline. Could it be that everything he said was true? Then Chen Mali suddenly shouts loudly, telling me to be careful, that she'll wait for me below. But after shouting, she knows that I can't actually hear her. Meanwhile, I explosively push with my arms again, leaping up once more, and grab onto a handhold next to the 6th-floor air conditioner unit. Once I stabilize myself, I reach out and pull the little boy over, holding him against my body. Cheers and applause erupt from below. But before the crowd can finish praising me, several screams come from the crowd. Chen Mali is so scared, she closes her eyes, because right then, perhaps due to the building's aging walls, the handhold breaks off in my hands. This means 2 people are about to fall. Many children and women dare not look anymore. In that moment, no one notices that my eyes show not a trace of panic. A few seconds later, with a loud bang, I land back first on a Mercedes-Benz sedan. Chen Mali looks on, her face full of despair. But the next second, everyone is stunned. As the dust clears, the 2-meter-tall figure walks out, holding the little boy. Then I calmly say that the child should be fine, and that I'll be going now. As I say this, I grab the equally dumbfounded Chen Mali and quickly leave with lightning speed. By the time everyone reacts, I've already vanished. Then, holding Chen Mali's hand, I jog several hundred meters, until Chen Mali's breathing becomes more rapid. Only then does she stop and ask in confusion, "Why are you running? We did a good deed. Why are we acting like thieves?" But I explain, "Sure, we saved the person, but who's going to pay for the damages afterward?" Still not reassured, I continue pulling Chen Mali toward the school. Chen Mali doesn't understand what I'm thinking, but soon her gaze fixes on the big claw that's holding her small hand. Now that he mentions it, tough guy's hands are so warm. If held like this in winter, it would definitely be warmer than a hand warmer. After walking a bit further, I finally explained to Chen Mali, at least 3 air conditioner units were broken, and the Mercedes I landed on cost at least over $1 million. The repairs alone could cost me my life. So if we don't run, we'll be stuck paying. But she says, "But we saved the child. You're still too young. One day you'll experience the dark side of society, then you'll understand." "Oh, you know so much, you're a year younger than me." Then she asks with concern whether I need to go to the hospital. After all, falling from that height, even if I look fine on the outside, maybe internal organs or bones are injured. But I calmly say I'm fine, that I've been through even more dangerous things. Chen Mali glances at me and mutters under her breath, "Braggart." She can't imagine anything more dangerous than falling from a 6th-floor building. I smile and don't explain further. After more than 10 minutes, we walk back to campus together. Chen Mali reluctantly says goodbye, telling me to rest well and that if I feel unwell, she'll take me to the hospital. I wave my hand and turn to leave without a trace of reluctance. This makes Chen Mali's proud, spoiled feelings rise again. Bad bear. Don't most guys at least walk a girl to her dorm building? Am I really that unattractive? I'm the campus beauty, for crying out loud. Can't he stay a little longer? Then, walking toward the girl's dorm, Chen Mali takes out her phone and sends a message. "Tough guy, did anything interesting happen at dinner tonight?" "You tell me." "Actually, yes. Today I saved a little boy. The scene, if I told you, you definitely wouldn't believe it." "Go ahead, I believe you." "Sissy boy, have you taken the wrong medicine today?" Later, when I return to my dorm room, my roommate K-How is still pulling an all-nighter gaming. When he sees me, he quickly asks, "Brother Lou, the barbecue just came out and you left. Then the campus beauty left right after you. Don't tell me you two were together." I casually reply, "Yes, I even held the campus beauty's hand for the whole walk." But K-How, hearing my offhand remark, immediately looks very skeptical. "You're joking with me, right? I can believe that you went out with the campus beauty, but holding hands the whole time? No way." K-How pauses, then continues, "Brother Lou, you haven't even been on campus for a full day yet. You don't know. That campus beauty Chen is the most beautiful and aloof girl at Ningbei University. In the past year alone, she's rejected who knows how many suitors. I'm a bit puzzled. Aloof? That word doesn't fit Chen Molly at all. But I can't be bothered to think too much about it, because after this system upgrade, my goal is to make more money. As for a girlfriend, that would only slow down my money-making speed. Anyway, with my physique and appearance, probably no one would like someone like me. Then I turn on my computer, type in a web address, and look at a certain data point. Bitcoin holdings, 10 coins. That's the reward from tonight's task, 10 bitcoins. But I don't have time to deal with it now, because military training starts tomorrow. I can think about other things after training is over. Early the next day, all the university freshmen gather on the school's sports field. On the platform, several school leaders waste a full 20 minutes with nonsense before finally announcing the end and revealing the first military training task, a hiking exercise. Their training location isn't at Ningbei University, but rather a military camp about 15 kilometers south of the university. For the next 2 weeks, 14 days in total, the freshmen will spend their time there. Right now, their task is to hike 15 kilometers to reach that camp. As soon as this is announced, there's a loud buzz of discussion. Kei Hao immediately complains, "Brother Du, don't you think the school is insane, starting military training like this? What's next?" But I'm unfazed. 15 kilometers? The system's daily routine runs are at least 20 kilometers. I've long adapted. 3 minutes later, all freshmen are forced to get ready. By class, they set off together toward the camp. A long line of students walks out of Ningbei University. On both sides of the line are support personnel from the army. Along the 15-kilometer road, several temporary medical points have been set up. Individual instructors supervise and urge each class forward. In the first half hour, the pace is decent. But after an hour, some freshmen clearly struggling. Most young people today are pampered or stay home all the time. This amount of exercise is a nightmare for them. Just then, the system voice sounds in my mind. Task refresh. Help heatstroke victims move to temporary medical points. Task completion reward. 10,000 coins per person helped. No upper limit. Seeing the system's task, my eyes light up. Helping one person gets me 10,000. If I help 100, that's 1,000,000 in cash. Right then, a cry of alarm comes from ahead. Someone fainted. Quick, someone come take a look. I look up and see a girl at the front of the class lying on the ground. The new students around her are all startled, not knowing what to do. The next second, a large figure appears in front of the heatstroke victim. The classmates see this figure, and their hair stands on end. They immediately recognize me. Without a word, I pick up the girl and quickly leave. When I reach the temporary medical point, I lay the girl on a cot. Seeing this, the medic suggests I rest a bit too and take some heatstroke medicine. But I wave my hand, saying I don't need it, and walk away without looking back. Later, when we arrive at the military training camp, I do the math. Today I've already carried more than 20 people. Over 200,000 in rewards just like that. Just as I'm feeling pleased, a striking figure appears not far away. It's Chen Molly. She's holding an iced milk tea and walks up to me. I'm stunned. I don't know what this campus beauty is up to again. Seeing my expression, Chen Molly says with a smile, "Junior Liu, I heard that along the way, you saved quite a few heatstroke female classmates. So I hope you'll accept my gift." What strikes me as very strange is that when Chen Molly says female classmates, she deliberately puts extra emphasis on the word. I'm about to refuse, but there are many eyes watching from the shadows, so I can only steel myself and take the milk tea. Then Chen Molly blinks and says, "Can you drink it all right now? I want to watch you finish it before I leave. After all, this is my heartfelt gift, you know." I figure I'm thirsty anyway, so I don't refuse. I take a big sip and swallow. But the next second, my eyes widen and my whole body shudders. Sour. Too sour. It's sour to the extreme. Is this milk tea? Isn't this pure lemon juice? Chen Molly holds back a laugh and asks, "What's wrong, Junior Liu? Don't you like lemon milk tea?" I question suspiciously, "Isn't this a little too sour?" But Chen Molly just smiles and says she probably forgot to add sugar. Then she says she has things to do, turns around and leaves, leaving me standing there dumbfounded. That night, back in the tent to rest, I open my phone and quickly discover that today's events, me saving people and being given milk tea, are trending again. Then a message from Sissy Boy arrives. "Tough guy, you're amazing. I saw your glorious deeds on the front page. I heard the campus beauty brought you milk tea, and it didn't taste very good? Whoa, you're really well informed. Don't even mention it. That girl almost killed me with sourness. That wasn't milk tea. it was super concentrated lemon juice. Just thinking about it makes my tongue tremble. Sissy boy, let me tell you, I think the campus beauty is targeting me. Seeing the string of messages I sent, Chen Molly bursts out laughing. Then she replies with 2 words. Serves you right. Seeing her reply, I feel even more confused. The next day, the group arrives at an opera house and holds a welcome party. Many juniors go up to show off their talents. Chen Molly, as the campus beauty, naturally doesn't miss it. When she comes on stage, the boys below erupt in cheers, eagerly anticipating her performance. But I suddenly notice a faint, barely detectable smirk at the corner of Chen Molly's mouth. Then she pauses and suddenly says, "Next, I would like to invite a classmate from the audience to come up and perform with me. I'll play, and they'll sing. Does anyone want to come up?" Many boys in the audience raise their hands, eager to perform on stage with the campus beauty. Looking at all the enthusiastic responses, Chen Molly's gaze eventually settles on one spot. Then she looked toward me and said slowly, "That tallest, strongest junior over there, would you come up and perform with me?" I was stunned. Turned to me, shy. I wanted to refuse. But then the system suddenly spoke. Yazoo reward task released. Host must sing a song that shocks 80% of the live audience. Reward, 7 days of stock trend intelligence. Hearing that, I suddenly felt that my savings might finally come in handy. Then, under everyone's shocked gazes, I walked onto the stage. I told Chen Molly she just needed to play the violin to accompany me. I'd handle the rest. Chen Molly looked surprised, but before she could ask, I sat at the piano. Then a beautiful melody slowly filled the air. When the performance ended, Chen Molly was stunned. The audience was stunned too. They never expected that this fierce-looking giant could have such a special side. A few seconds later, Chen Molly started clapping. The other students snapped out of it and joined in. I scratched my head, feeling embarrassed. Back at the tent that night, a message from Sissy Boy arrived. "Hey Hunk, you're on the school forum again. I didn't know you had that talent. From now on call me Treasure Hunk. I know too many things, just low-key." You're floating after just a little praise? By the way, want to meet up in a few days? My treat for a nice meal. I invited him because we'd known each other online for 5 years, and now that we were so close, it felt wrong not to meet. But about a minute passed with no reply. That felt strange. Then my phone vibrated. I quickly opened it. "Sorry, I went to the bathroom." "Sure, we can meet. I'll probably be back at university next month. Some family stuff this month, so I'm still out of town." Ah, that explains why he only sees my updates on the forum. Then I remembered something and sent him the 7-day stock trend info from the system reward. I typed, "Sissy boy, don't say I'm not a good friend. If you trust me, follow this. I guarantee you'll thank me soon." After sending that, I started studying this invaluable stock market intel. Chen Molly, confused, called her dad. "Oh, my precious daughter, not asleep yet? What's up?" "Dad, you make it sound like I never call you." "Just joking. What is it?" "Nothing much. I'll send you something. Look at it when you have time. By the way, is our company's problem solved?" "Don't worry, sweetheart. It'll be solved soon. You just focus on your studies. Dad will handle the company." Then, probably not to worry her, her dad chatted a bit more and hung up. Meanwhile, I had just left my tent to go to the woods, when I noticed a huge dark shadow in the distance. Sensing something wrong, I followed it. Getting closer, I saw it was an adult black bear. Chen Molly, lost in thought, had fallen asleep, unaware that a terrifying beast, just as the bear was about to pounce on the tent. Next second, what was that sound? The bear stood up, eyes full of rage, and lunged at me. "You want another?" After I said that, the bear's eyes filled with fear. It quickly got up and ran away. Frantically, I didn't chase it. I turned and went back to sleep. But I didn't know that Chen Molly had seen everything from the shadows. She had woken up, left her tent, followed the noise, and saw a humanoid bear toss an adult black bear like a chick. After I left, She was too stunned to move. Back in her tent, she took out her phone and typed, "Hunk, thank you." I thought she had discovered how valuable the stock forecast was. Satisfied, I went to sleep. Next morning at 6:30, the freshmen were woken up for 40 minutes of morning run. I wanted to ask for half a day off to go to the stock exchange. But when we returned to camp, we saw a uniformed police officer. Some freshmen whispered, "Whoa, did someone do something wrong?" Probably some drill activity. Yeah, scared me. They didn't think much of it, but I felt a sharp gaze lock onto me. Then the drill instructor asked me to come over. When I stood before the officer, he looked me up and down, his expression tight, full of amazement. Seeing me up close versus from afar were completely different. He coughed and asked me to come with him. I already guessed why. Sure enough, by the police car, I asked, "You're here because of the Kangping residential area incident 3 nights ago, right?" The officer was surprised. "How did you know?" I smiled and didn't answer. I'd been through this too many times. He showed me a video on his phone. Me jumping up to the 6th floor to save a trapped boy, then landing on a Mercedes-Benz. I admitted it and asked how much I needed to pay, assuming the car owner had filed a complaint. But the officer smiled. "Pay? We're not here for that." I was confused. The Mercedes owner wasn't pursuing it? He explained, "What's to pursue? You saved his son. Fixing the car is nothing. People who can afford that car don't care." He brought a huge thank you banner to the station the next morning, asking us to find you so he could thank you in person. I was stunned. So the boy I saved and the car I damaged belonged to the same family. I told the officer I was too shy for in-person thanks. If convenient, just drop me off at Spring Road Stock Exchange. He agreed. But soon after getting in the car, a familiar sound. Task refreshed. Brave capture. Capture suspect ponytail hat within 1 hour. Reward: 1 Mercedes-Benz G800 off-road vehicle. I was speechless. How was I supposed to find someone I didn't know? So I asked Officer Fang if he'd heard of the guy. "You mean the A-level wanted criminal, Ponytail Mao. That guy is extremely vicious and cunning. We've surrounded him 3 times and he escaped each time." Hearing the reward, I perked up. I logged into the National Police website and found his info. Ponytail Mao, 43, cruel, has committed 2 crimes while on the run, leaving no survivors. I memorized his details and thought, the task triggered when I said I was going to Spring Road Station. That means he's probably nearby. I urged the officer to drive faster. When we arrived, I asked him to drive around the area a couple more times. Confused, he did. I thanked him. He felt relieved, as if my intimidating aura had faded. We drove around several times, but I saw nothing unusual. With only 15 minutes left, I was losing hope. Then I locked eyes on someone. He looked normal, but when he saw the police car, I noticed all his muscles tense up. I lowered the window and began the final test. A loud shout echoed down the street. Several passers-by turned to look at me. Only that middle-aged man was different. When he heard Ponytail Mao, he immediately turned and ran. I opened the car door and jumped out of the moving police car. The officer gasped, thinking I was crazy. But I did a simple roll, kicked off the ground, and stood up. Then I charged in one direction. Ponytail Mao ran far, glanced back, and felt suffocated. He'd never seen such a terrifying officer, and how could someone so big run so fast? He pushed an old woman off her electric scooter, stole it, and turned into a small alley, speeding away, cursing. Chunhua Road was flanked by commercial pedestrian streets, behind which were tangled residential alleys. Cars couldn't enter. He was sure that even if I ran fast, the complex terrain would stop me. But I stood under a residential building, pushed off the ground with both legs, and grabbed onto a 4th-floor security window grill. Then I swung myself onto the rooftop of the building across. Ponytail Mao weaved through the narrow alleys, not worried about getting lost. If he could confuse himself, the police would be even more lost. After several turns, he threw the scooter aside and prepared to leave. Then he heard a loud crash behind him, something heavy falling from above. He cursed but kept walking. 2 steps later, his hair stood on end. He felt like a wild animal was watching him. He turned and saw me walking slowly toward him. "You're alone?" he asked. I stopped and nodded silently. His eyes flashed. Hidden behind his back, he pulled out a knife and charged. But when he swung, I grabbed his wrist. No matter how he struggled, he couldn't move. Panic filled his face. Before he could speak, I slapped him. He fell unconscious. I muttered that he was weak for a criminal. Then the system chimed. "Task complete. Mercedes salesperson will contact you soon." I smiled, dragged Ponytail Mao toward the street, and found Officer Fang anxiously calling for backup. Then he heard my voice behind him. He turned, dumbfounded. I was holding the unconscious A-level fugitive. How did you catch him?" he asked. I briefly explained. He was even more amazed. Then he said I needed to make a statement. I agreed but asked to go to the stock exchange first. Without waiting for a reply, I dragged the fugitive toward the exchange. Back at school, Chen Molly was checking her phone, feeling down. She hadn't heard from me in a while. Then her roommate at the computer exclaimed, "Big news, big news." Chen Molly wasn't interested, until her roommate said, "Lu Ran was taken away by police from the campsite this morning." A scream echoed from the female dormitory. Chen Molly rushed out, found a quiet corner, hesitated, then dialed a number. A mature woman's voice answered, "What is it? I'm busy." Chen Molly nervously asked her mom to look into. Her mom's voice rose. "A guy? Taken by police? You're not dating some shady character, are you?" Chen Molly quickly explained, calming her down. At the Ningbo Police Bureau, Chen Meilian sat in the Criminal Investigation Unit captain's office, frowning. After her daughter's call, she checked and found an officer had indeed gone to the camp that morning. She drove there and learned from Officer Fang an astonishing truth. The fugitive she'd chased many times, Ma Wei Mao, had been caught by an 18-year-old college student. She asked his name. Officer Fang said, "My name." Chen Meilian was stunned. She'd misjudged me, thought I was some delinquent. Just then I finished my statement and walked out, meeting her gaze. She looked me up and down, blinking curiously. First impression, huge, like a bear. Second, could this really be her daughter's friend? This big guy might have trouble finding a wife. I left the station, took a taxi to pick up my car, and checked my phone. Sissy Boy had sent a flood of messages. "Hunk, the forum says you were taken by police. What happened? You okay? I asked someone I know at the station. You out yet? Answer me." Feeling warm inside, I replied, "Don't worry." On my way to pick up my car now. At the Mercedes dealership, as I was about to walk in, I sensed a pair of hands quickly approaching from behind. Guess who? It's her. "Senior, why are you attacking me?" "Attacking? I just wanted to cover your eyes and have you guess." "Who knew you'd react so strongly?" I complained that she was like a little kid. But then Chen Molly suddenly burst into tears. 2 streams of tears fell like rain. Passers-by stared. That guy made such a pretty girl cry, how awful. But when they saw my face, they quickly looked away and left. I comforted her and asked if she needed to go to the hospital. She shook her head. "Just don't cry, and I'll do anything. Then elope with me." Chen Molly felt complex and Wei-Chu. The crying released years of pressure. Everyone envied her. Her dad a company CEO, her mom a martial arts expert, herself pretty and smart. But she wasn't happy. Her parents arranged everything, hobbies, schedule, even friends. That noon, her mom came to school and lectured her for an hour about not hanging out with shady guys. She didn't dare talk back, but after her mom left, she got angry. Just because he looks fierce? Why should I stay away from him? She acted on impulse and came to find me. Now hearing her say elope, I was stunned. I thought she'd lost her mind and offered to take her to the hospital. Then the system chimed. Take Chen Molly to avoid police and others. The longer you last, the bigger the reward. Max 10 days. Day 1 reward, 1 million. My eyes lit up. I immediately agreed to her unreasonable request. She couldn't believe it. I didn't even ask why. Lu Ran, aren't you going to ask why I ran away? I went along with it. Tell me your story. She huffed. Clearly I wasn't interested. But she explained anyway. I had a fight with my family. I've taken a few days off school and left a message at home. Oh, I let her follow me to pick up the car. Soon my new car was ready, plates and all. Riding in the spacious Mercedes SUV felt great. Chen Molly was surprised. She didn't know the model, but her family had a Mercedes SG. She asked how much it cost. I casually said, maybe a few $100,000. Her family's Mercedes cost over $1 million. This one was clearly more expensive. Then her stomach growled. I asked if she was hungry. She softly said yes, but inside she was roaring. Of course I'm hungry. I didn't eat breakfast because you were taken away, and at lunch, my mom dragged me out. We stopped by a roadside diner. While crossing the street, I felt something soft and cool in my hand. I looked down. Chen Molly was holding my hand. I have a fear of crossing streets. If I don't hold someone's hand, I can't cross. I was speechless. I'd heard of claustrophobia, but not that. But whatever. I'm a guy. I'm not losing anything. I even squeezed her hand a little. It was really soft. Her eyes flickered. Inside she thought, don't go too far, bear. But she felt her unease disappear the moment she held my hand. And maybe the fear was real. Who knows? We ate at a small restaurant. Starving, she devoured the food without caring about her image. I looked at her strangely. Never seen a pretty girl eat? After the meal, I went to pay. 270 yuan. But my phone said insufficient balance. I'd put all my money into stocks, leaving only a little for living expenses, which I'd used for car plates and gas. Chen Molly came to the counter. I'll pay. All expenses are on me for these few days. I agreed reluctantly. Then she grabbed my hand and dragged me toward a movie theater. She seemed so different from the aloof beauty my roommates described. She seemed almost clingy. Inside the theater, the movie was boring. She fed me popcorn. Don't just watch, eat. We can't waste it. The atmosphere shifted. I grabbed a handful of popcorn and stuffed it in my mouth, pretending to focus on the movie. She secretly smiled. So this is another side of the big bear. Cute. A few minutes later she leaned closer. Junior, I fed you. Shouldn't you feed me? I nodded and even boasted that I could shoot popcorn into her mouth from 10 meters away. She was speechless. Later in the movie she leaned in again, this time seriously. She had decided to reveal her identity. She softly said my name. No response. She looked closer. I was asleep. After the movie she smiled, glanced at her phone, and said, maybe we should find a place to rest. I agreed, 1 room each. But she said she forgot her ID. I was skeptical. Without IDs, hotels are strict. 1 person, 1 ID. After 4 tries, we found one that allowed double occupancy. At the front desk, twin beds or 1 big bed. I asked if we could get another room. The clerk said 1 ID for 2 people was already pushing it. Chen Molly tugged me and said twin beds would be fine. In the elevator, I asked why she trusted me so much. Didn't she worry I might do something? She smiled slyly. I trust you. In the room she locked the door and turned off all the lights. I panicked. Whoa, what's she doing? Is she coming on to me? That's too fast. Lu Ran, she said calmly, turn on your phone camera. We're checking for hidden cameras. If you see red dots, that's a signal source. She started scanning. I was impressed. Do you come to places like this often? What are you thinking? No, it's common sense. I felt stupid. Then she looked at me meaningfully and said she was going to shower, warning me not to peek. I sat on the bed, not daring to move. Soon I heard water running, and the room felt warmer. I was confused. She acted innocent but kept teasing me. I needed advice. I messaged, Sissy boy. Reply fast. Waiting online. What I didn't notice, the shower stopped. A few seconds later he replied, I'm here, cooking, so might be slow. Go ahead. Would you believe I'm in a hotel room with a beautiful woman? You? I never thought you were that kind of person. Be serious. She's showering now. What if she comes out and jumps me? Should I knock her out and wake her tomorrow? Several minutes later he replied, don't you dare. Why would she do that? She probably had a fight with her family. Don't take advantage. Really? Why would she like me? Because I helped her on the subway? Then, the bathroom door opened. A long-legged figure in a bathrobe walked out. I looked away and asked why she didn't get dressed. She flicked her wet hair. Do I look good? No different. How about now? I glanced over. She pulled off the robe. The air went silent. Then she laughed like a bell. She was wearing shorts underneath. The robe made it look like nothing. You're like a child. Really, but someone looks disappointed. You're seeing things. I went into the bathroom. She collapsed on the bed, face red, lost in thought. Inside, I turned the shower to cold and stood there for 30 minutes. When I came out, she was already in bed. I felt relieved. She had some restraint. She teased, "I thought guys showered fast. Why so slow? Were you doing something in there?" I ignored her and got into the other bed. But the sheets were warm and smelled nice. I looked at her. I tried both beds. This one felt better. I had no reply. I took out my phone to message Sissy Boy, but he had sent, "Done cooking, eating now, talk later." Great. Abandoned. I turned off the phone and tried to sleep. Then she whispered, "Luran, are you asleep?" "Yeah." "Luran, I'm a little scared sleeping alone. Maybe we could sleep together?" I didn't know how to respond. Then suddenly, loud footsteps in the hallway. Multiple knocks. "Police, open up. We received a report of illegal activity. Don't panic, just a routine check." We both stared in shock. I peeked through the curtain. 3 police cars downstairs. She had no ID, and I looked suspicious. I decided to grab her and jump out the window. Meanwhile, she was looking around. Bathroom? Closet? Under the table? I walked toward her seriously and said, "We were jumping." She panicked. Then suddenly, "Wait, I think I have a solution." Her eyes lit up. "Stay here, don't come out." She opened the door, left, and closed it behind her. I was confused. Meanwhile in the hallway, a young police officer saw Chen Molly come out and quickly stepped forward to question her. But Chen Molly spoke first. "I didn't bring my ID, but your Captain Feng can vouch for my identity." Chen Molly pointed to an officer not far away, who clearly looked like the captain. The young officer was puzzled, but still turned to explain the situation to his captain. Captain Feng listened impatiently and told him to just bring her in first. But when he turned and saw Chen Molly's face, he froze. "Lin Li, what are you doing here?" Chen Molly quickly walked over, greeted him politely, and began to make up a story. "I came out to run some errands today, but it got too late, and I didn't want to bother the dorm mother, so I just found a random hotel to stay in." Captain Feng nodded, and kindly told her to be safe and to go back to the dorm next time. "I'll go back tomorrow morning. Uncle Feng, could you not tell my mom about this? If she finds out, I'll get scolded to death." Seeing Chen Molly's pitiful expression, Captain Feng could only agree helplessly. Then he nodded to her and turned to leave. Chen Molly walked back to the room door, but awkwardly realized she hadn't brought the room card. Now she was completely stuck. If she knocked, wouldn't that tell Uncle Feng she was sharing a room with someone? Just as Chen Molly was in a dilemma, a soft door opening sound came. The door slowly opened a crack. Then Chen Molly quickly slipped inside. But she didn't know that the young officer had just said to Captain Feng, "Captain, that door seemed to be opened from the inside by someone else. I think there's someone else in there. Should we?" Before he finished, Captain Feng interrupted him, told him not to say anything, and to pretend he hadn't seen it. Then he gave the young officer a "you're still too young" look. Inside the room, Chen Molly calmed down and praised, "Luran, thank goodness you opened the door in time, otherwise I would have been exposed. You know someone out there?" "We used to be neighbors in the same compound, very familiar with my parents. My mom and he work in the same bureau, and their relationship is even that of superior and subordinate." I nodded, didn't think much of it, then went back to bed to continue sleeping. 10 minutes later, after playing with her phone for a while and seeing that I wasn't talking anymore, Chen Molly couldn't help speaking up again. "Luran, shall we go to the amusement park tomorrow?" But no one answered after a long while. Chen Molly quietly turned her head and found that I had already fallen asleep. Then she sat up angrily, took an eyebrow pencil out of her bag, and slowly approached me. 15 minutes later, Chen Molly returned to her own bed with satisfaction. After playing with her phone a bit more, she fell deeply asleep. The next morning, I woke up promptly at 7. After doing 100 one-handed push-ups in the room, I stopped. At that moment a clapping sound came. Chen Molly had woken up at some point, and was sitting on the edge of the bed, clapping, smiling, and praising me for being so disciplined. While speaking, she kept staring at my face. Midway through, she started laughing, and the more she laughed, the more exaggerated it became, until she fell back on the bed in laughter. I glanced helplessly at this silly girl, then walked into the bathroom. Soon, helpless sighs came from the bathroom, and Chen Molly fell back on the bed laughing again. An hour later, I took Chen Molly to the amusement park. Although it was only 8 o'clock, many people had already arrived, mostly couples or families of 3. I already did my homework last night. Today, watch me seniors show you around the amusement park. Looking at the lively amusement park, I was in a good mood too. It had been at least 6 or 7 years since my last visit. Then the two of us began our amusement park trip. Chen Molly deliberately chose some thrilling rides, wanting to see if I would be scared, but I was completely calm the whole time, leaving her frightened by the exciting rides. After 2 rides, while resting, I put the first day's Great Escape reward of 1 million yuan, which had arrived early that morning, entirely into the stock market. Then I started calculating the gains after 7 days. Just then, Chen Molly took my hand again and excitedly said she wanted to go to the haunted house. She thought maybe that would scare me. She was determined to find something that scared me. When we got to the haunted house, I saw a huge skull from afar. The skull's mouth was the entrance, and on the skull's forehead were written the words "Ghost In." The staff member quickly explained the precautions and then signaled that we could enter. After I pulled Chen Molly into the entrance, the surrounding lights disappeared. Screams echoed in the darkness, causing Chen Molly to cling to my arm. I comforted her. "Don't be nervous. It hasn't even started yet, and there aren't any real ghosts in a haunted house." Then I led Chen Molly in front, while she followed behind with her head down. Just as we reached a corner, suddenly the plank of a coffin was pushed open, and a person wrapped entirely in bandages stood up. The next second, a rough scream echoed through the haunted house. It wasn't Chen Molly's, and it wasn't mine. It was the bandaged person who had suddenly stood up, because at that moment, a fist the size of a clay pot was only a few centimeters from her face. That almost caused a death. I glared at the bandaged person and complained, "Sorry, big brother, I was wrong. I'll go back right now." Then he quickly crawled back into the coffin and closed the lid. He was now both shocked and scared. As for Chen Molly, after being startled by the bandaged person, she clung to my back with her whole body and refused to let go. There was no choice. I had to carry her in a princess carry, otherwise we'd never get through the haunted house. 10 minutes later, I carried Chen Molly to the exit. I looked back at the haunted house. Overall, it was okay, but the horror level was still a bit weak. Then after Chen Molly got down from my arms, I noticed she had a playful smile, not scared at all. I asked in confusion, "Aren't you scared anymore?" "I was scared at first, but after you carried me, I slowly got used to it," Chen Molly said with a sly smile. I thought to myself, indeed, the more beautiful a woman is, the better she is at lying. Meanwhile, at the Ningbai Police Bureau, in office number 3, an officer burst in. "Captain G, those human traffickers have appeared. They're currently queuing at the entrance of Ningbai Amusement Park." Chen Malian's eyes lit up. She slammed the table and immediately ordered all team members to move out and head to the amusement park. At that time, Chen Molly dragged me to play 3 more rides. Finally, she was tired and hungry. It was exactly 12:30 noon. When we arrived at the dining and rest area inside the amusement park, we found it was completely full. "Now there's not even a seat," Chen Molly grumbled. "You can go play 2 more rides. After the meal rush, there will be seats," I said teasingly. "Then I'll starve to death," Chen Molly complained. I couldn't help but retort, "Then just eat somewhere else, no?" Chen Molly was stunned. "Why do we have to eat in the rest area? Why didn't I think of that? It's definitely not because I'm not smart. I was just too happy today and forgot." Then, enlightened, Chen Molly bought 2 burgers and 2 cups of milk tea, and found a lunch spot she was very satisfied with. A bench by the lake next to the central pavilion of the amusement park. At this time, most people were eating, so there weren't many by the lake. Occasionally some people pushed strollers or couples strolled by. When I took the milk tea, I hesitated and asked if it was proper milk tea. Chen Molly assured me with a playful smile. "This time it's definitely proper. If you don't believe me, I'll take a sip of yours first." Hearing her say that, I knew the milk tea was fine. Then we opened our sets and chatted while eating. Chen Molly occasionally took out her phone and snapped a few photos, saying she wanted to keep them as souvenirs. After all, it was her first time at an amusement park. I just focused on eating and didn't stop her. Just then, a familiar voice sounded in my mind. "Task refreshed. Catch them all. Capture all 5 human traffickers. Task completion reward, 1 cashback card. Trafficker action countdown, 30 seconds, start." After hearing that, I stood up instantly. Ignoring Chen Molly's puzzled look, I began scanning the surroundings. The countdown in my mind was down to just over 10 seconds. Since the system prompted this, it was very likely that this event would happen near me. Soon my gaze locked onto a middle-aged man around 50 years old, pushing a stroller. I narrowed my eyes and saw a young man suddenly appear from behind a tree, then quickly rush toward the middle-aged man pushing the stroller. Then the young man snatched the middle-aged man's phone and ran off. The middle-aged man wanted to chase him but looked anxiously at the stroller he was holding. Chen Molly was dumbfounded. She never imagined she would witness a robbery in person. Then she suggested going over to help, but I told her not to rush and to wait and see. Just then a fashionable young woman quickly walked up to the middle-aged man. "Uncle, you go chase the robber. I'll watch the kid for you." "Thank you so much, miss. Wait for me," the middle-aged man said and immediately ran off after the phone snatcher without a second thought. Chen Molly remarked, "There really are a lot of good people in the world." But the next second the young woman who had offered to help, seeing the middle-aged man chase far away, quickly pushed the stroller in the opposite direction. Chen Molly was stunned. She finally realized this was also a human trafficker. A minute later the woman pushed the stroller to a pavilion. Inside the pavilion were two men. One of them was the young man who had snatched the phone. The other, a scar-faced man, urged them to hurry up. The other accomplices were already waiting at the entrance. But just as he finished speaking, the baby in the stroller began to cry. The woman was about to cover the baby's mouth, when suddenly a voice came. "Sorry, I'll take this child." The woman turned and saw a tall, fierce figure approaching slowly. The two accomplices were also terrified. After regaining their composure, the trafficker named Lao Jiao said viciously, "You guys take the child and meet up with Lao Qian. I'll hold him off." Then he pulled a folding knife from his pocket. Seeing the knife, Chen Molly's face was full of worry. "Lu Ran, what do we do? We don't have any weapons." But I said calmly, "Don't worry. To me, that's just a toy knife." Chen Molly frowned. That didn't seem right, because the blade was glinting coldly. But just as she was wondering, my figure suddenly charged forward. Lao Jiao instinctively swung the knife, but as soon as his hand lifted, a slap hit his face. His entire body was flung away, and after hitting the ground, he fell unconscious. The female trafficker was dumbfounded. She looked at me, then immediately made a decision. "Big brother, how about we give you the child and you let us go, okay?" Then Chen Molly stepped forward and took the stroller. As I was about to grab the other two as well, two police officers rushed from different directions. "Police, don't move. Put your hands up." The female trafficker and her accomplice looked ashen. They quickly raised their hands and squatted on the ground. But the two officers did not relax at all, because in their eyes, I also seemed like an extremely dangerous target. Just as I was thinking about how to explain, Lu Ran and Yan Yan and Captain Huang and Fang Jun's voices sounded simultaneously. Everyone on the scene was stunned. Uncle Feng walked up to us and asked, frowning, "What are you two doing here?" Chen Molly recounted the whole incident clearly. After listening, they understood. "This achievement has your share. But next time something like this happens, call the police first. Don't act on your own." "Uncle Feng, my mom isn't here, is she?" Chen Molly asked quietly. "She's here. Captain Chen is the overall commander. She's at the entrance." "I'm not looking for my mom." "Well, we'll be going now." Chen Molly handed the child to an officer, took my hand, and tried to slip away. I held her small hand, and we tacitly made a big detour, leaving the amusement park through another exit. Neither of us felt like continuing. I was worried about failing the Great Escape task, and Chen Molly was worried about being caught by her mom. Just as we reached the parking lot and were about to drive off, my phone rang. The caller ID showed Officer Chen. At that moment, Chen Molly stopped me. "Lu Ran, I need to confess something to you." I looked at this enchanting girl and wondered what scheme she was plotting now. Chen Molly looked at her phone, her eyes misty. "I'm really happy today. Truly happy. Lu Ran, I've discovered that you're full of bright spots, especially your eyes." I frowned. "Eyes? Really? You're making this feel like a life and death farewell, even memorizing the lines." She leaned closer to me. "Lu Ran, actually my eyes are prettier than yours. What do you see in my eyes?" Those beautiful eyes looked deeply into mine. I slowly reached out, touched the corner of her eye, and pulled out a fallen eyelash. "Senior, you're so talented. Just an eyelash, and you created such an atmosphere." Chen Molly instantly became angry. Without hesitation, she bit my wrist. I yelped. I hadn't expected that after her scheme was exposed, she would lash out in embarrassment. She bit for several seconds before letting go, gave me a fierce glare, then snatched the phone, and answered. "Lu Ran," Officer Chen's angry voice sounded. Chen Molly said, It's me, Mom. I was dumbfounded. What, this girl calls Officer Chen Mom? In an instant the images of the two appeared in my mind. They actually did look quite alike. You little brat, you've only been in university for a few days and you're already skipping class? Is it because I criticized you yesterday? Mom, I'm in college now. I want to breathe some fresh air on my own. What do you know? Chen Mali directly cursed. Seeing the mother-daughter argument about to escalate, I was about to mediate when the other end of the line shouted again. Do you know what boys are really thinking when they get close to you? That Luran may seem decent on the surface, but he's still a man. You don't understand that men think with their lower halves. Several black lines appeared on my forehead. Auntie, if you say that, I can't help. Mom, I know. That's why I never thought about a purely platonic relationship. Luran, you take it. Chen Mali shoved the phone into my hand and climbed into the back seat, curling up in a corner. Hello, Officer Chen. Luran, right? Bring my daughter back and I won't pursue this. Otherwise, I approached Luran voluntarily and left with him willingly. All expenses were paid by me. No threats, no intimidation, fully conscious, and I have selfie evidence. From any legal standpoint, you can't charge him with anything. Chen Mali refuted logically. 2 seconds later, her mother spoke. Fine, you brat. You can run for 3 days, but don't let me catch you. Luran, before I catch you two, protect my daughter. Otherwise, you're finished. The call ended. It was silent for several seconds. Chen Mali slumped weakly in the back seat. Luran, do you think I'm a really bad person? Yes. She almost choked on her anger. Then I started the car, left the amusement park, and asked her if she wanted to continue the elopement. Yes. If I go back now, I'll definitely be grounded. So where to next? Chen Mali thought for a few seconds, her eyes lighting up. I want to go to Lingnan City. I was shocked. Seeing my reaction, Chen Mali quickly said in surprise, Luran, your home is in Lingnan? That's even better. You know the place well. My mom definitely won't find us. I glanced at the rearview mirror. I felt like this girl was hiding something from me, but I didn't plan to dig deeper. At that moment, I had already decided that as soon as the Great Escape task ended, I would throw her back immediately. 3.5 hours later, we entered Lingnan City. I turned off the navigation. Here, I was the human GPS. Then I woke Chen Mali. She stretched and asked what the plan was. I said we'd eat first, then find a hotel for her. What about you? Where will you stay? I'll go home. I'm in Lingnan, so why wouldn't I go home? You want me to stay at a hotel with you? Why not? Aren't you worried I'll get kidnapped by bad guys in the middle of the night? I thought it over. It made sense. If Officer Chen really came and took her away, I'd fail the task. So I decided to book her into a hotel near my house. She could call me if anything happened. Chen Mali's eyes darted. Then she said, Luran, I feel like I can't get used to eating out. Yesterday I had a stomachache after eating out. Last time you said your cooking was especially good and that you'd cook for me someday. My face was full of question marks. When had I ever said I'd cook? But I knew this girl was hard to deal with, so I had to agree. Then she asked me to take her to a mall. When we arrived, we were empty-handed. Half an hour later when we came out, I had 3 big bags in my left hand and 4 in my right, looking utterly bewildered. Belt, lipstick, cosmetics, lighter, wallet. One shopping trip cost at least 20,000 yuan. Senior, why did you buy all this random stuff? For your parents? She smiled faintly, something like that. When a vegetable-selling auntie saw me and shouted, it was like poking a hornet's nest. Chen Mali was dumbfounded. She never imagined that I, with my fierce appearance, would be so popular in the wet market. But she frowned slightly. Why did everyone assume she was my cousin or something? Why didn't anyone mistake her for my girlfriend? She squinted, seized the moment, stepped forward, and tried to hold my big arm. But I somehow dodged and told her to mind her image. These were neighbors. She shouldn't make them misunderstand. Chen Mali almost wanted to bite me again. Buying vegetables took nearly 20 minutes. Chen Mali just stared with wide eyes the whole time, unable to help. This bargaining and selecting process was beyond her knowledge. 3 minutes later, the car stopped in front of an ordinary residential building. She carefully observed the surroundings. 6 floors, no elevator. The greenery was naturally grown willow and poplar trees. Under the shade, old folks chatted cheerfully. Such a warm scene was something she would never see in her own gated community. When she got out of the car, she turned and grabbed several gift bags from the back seat. I then realized those were greeting gifts for my parents. I didn't refuse and turned toward the building. Chen Mali was a bit angry. After 30 seconds, she had only walked 10 meters and was already slightly out of breath. She regretted it. How was she supposed to carry these things this high? I shook my head, walked over, and told her to raise her hands. She glanced at me secretly, her eyes showing happiness, and raised her hands with effort. But I said that palms weren't good for carrying, elbows were stronger. I told her to hang the bags on her elbows. Then I took my own bags and walked into the building. Chen Molly was speechless and shouted. She began to regret not having agreed to it the first time. But carrying things with elbows was indeed easier, though she only made it 2.5 floors. On the upper floors, I didn't make things difficult for her anymore. I carried all the bags up. Chen Molly smirked. No matter what, the first step, entering the house, was finally achieved. I took out my keys and opened the door. There was still more than an hour before my parents came back from work. Enough time to make dinner. I told Chen Molly to make herself at home while I cooked. Then I took the ingredients and went into the kitchen. Chen Molly asked where the bathroom was. She had sweated a lot climbing the stairs and wanted to shower. Without looking back, I told her the innermost room was mine, with a bathroom, and towels were in the cabinet. Chen Molly acknowledged and began curiously looking around the room. The furniture wasn't new, but it was orderly. The floors and desk were clean. Then she walked toward the innermost room. She was really looking forward to what this big bear's room would look like. She thought it must be a total mess, but when she opened the door, she was surprised. Books of all kinds were neatly arranged on the bookshelf. Small tools on the desk were in storage boxes. The most eye-catching was the over 2-meter-long bed with pale blue sheets and comforter. Not a single wrinkle. She could faintly smell that big bear scent. Chen Molly got a little excited, wanting to jump on the bed and roll around, but feeling the sticky sweat on her skin, she decided to shower first. Then she could really enjoy the sheets. 20 minutes later, busy in the kitchen, I had already finished 3 dishes, 2 more dishes and a soup, and it would be done. At that moment, a soft voice came from the kitchen door. I turned around. She was making that kind of tone. I always felt like nothing good was coming. Chen Molly was wearing my clothes. She was in an oversized t-shirt. Her perfect proportions were completely hidden. Only a little of her long legs showed. Great. So my clothes didn't need washing if she used them? Chen Molly explained that her dress was short, she hadn't brought extra clothes, and if she washed them, she'd have nothing to change into. I couldn't find a reason to argue. It kinda made sense, so I asked her to help wash vegetables. Chen Molly confidently agreed, but a minute later, a plate fell to the ground and shattered. Sorry. I used too much dish soap, and my hand slipped. I widened my eyes. Senior, say that again. How did you wash the cabbage? With dish soap. I rubbed each leaf clean. Stop. Do you know the main ingredients of dish soap are this and that? You're not here to help. You're here to commit murder. I didn't know. Fine. Can you at least wash the dishes? I pointed to some dirty bowls. No problem. I'll be careful. 1 minute later, a small bowl shattered again. I was completely speechless. I told her to go sit on the living room couch and wait for dinner. Soon, tempting aromas drifted out of the kitchen. Just then, the sound of a key turning came from the front door. Chen Molly's heart jumped. Lu Ran's parents had come back half an hour earlier than he said, and she was still wearing his clothes. If they saw this, it would be so awkward. She wanted to run back to his room, but it was too late. This familiar smell. Honey, it must be Lu Ran cooking. That kid, he didn't even tell us he was back. The next moment, 6 eyes met. Honey, did we go to the wrong house? My mom looked around in surprise, but she checked the shoe cabinet, the living room, the TV, the sofa. No, this was their home. My dad said they hadn't made a mistake. Then my mom asked, puzzled, and, Miss, you are? Chen Molly's heart was pounding wildly. Very nervous. Hello, Auntie. Hello, Uncle. She was about to say, I'm Lu Ran's classmate. But then her eyes shifted, and she changed it. I'm the one Lu Ran brought back. Having learned from the wet market incident about not being misunderstood, she decided to go all out. Sure enough, my parents were stunned. After carefully looking her over twice, they showed an expression of, I see, so that's how it is. I see. Miss, please sit down. Let Auntie get you some tea. Auntie, don't go to the trouble. I'm not thirsty. Don't be shy. Then plain water. Drinking more hot water is good. My mom finished speaking, then turned to my dad and told him to pour the girl a glass of water while she went to check the kitchen. In the kitchen, I heard the commotion and was about to say why Chen Molly was causing trouble again, but it turned out to be my mom. Then she scolded. Kid, how many times have I told you? Stop picking up random people. Where did you find that girl outside? Under a bridge or in a river? She looks quite pretty and clean. What if her family can't find her? My mom looked at me like I was a lost cause. This had happened so many times she couldn't count. Over the years, this silly son kept bringing trouble home. At first, it was kittens and puppies, then blind people, deaf people, drunk men or women, and even a bloodied person once. I was dumbfounded, not knowing how to explain. Was I supposed to say I skipped class and eloped with a senior while hiding from her parents? If I said that, I'd definitely get beaten. Then I suddenly had an idea and explained, Chen Molly was originally a rich man's daughter, but 2 days ago her dad's company went bankrupt. Her mom was so angry, she divorced him. Then neither of them wanted her. They gave her some money and disappeared. That day, I saw her crying at the school gate from morning till night. I was worried she might do something stupid, so I brought her back to cheer her up. My mom listened, veins bulging with anger. She felt the parents were truly irresponsible, and Chen Molly was really pitiful. Then I told my mom that the pile of gifts at the door was the girl's greeting gift for them. Those were good things, and the new black Mercedes downstairs was hers, so she could accept them without worry. She wasn't short on money. The next second, I got 2 more slaps. Accept nothing. I thought you had finally grown a conscience and bought those for your dad and me. My mom finished speaking, turned, and quickly returned to the living room. When my mom returned to the living room, Chen Molly was sitting in a corner of the sofa, carefully sipping a glass of water. She was surprised by my mom's exceptionally gentle and kind eyes and tone. It was even better than her own mom's tone. Then my mom asked about the bag of gifts. Chen Molly politely said they were greeting gifts. My dad walked over and glanced at them. A lighter of this brand, old Lee was showing off to us the other day, said it cost 8,000. I suggested that Chen Molly return them. The gifts weren't necessary. Forget the gifts. In the future you're always welcome, but don't bring any of those things. Uncle, Auntie, I already bought them. I'm definitely not returning them. Please accept them. No, miss. Take them back for your parents. My mom then yelled at my dad, don't talk nonsense. Her parents just divorced and abandoned her. Why are you bringing that up? My dad looked confused. Then, to change the subject, my mom verbally agreed to accept Chen Molly's gifts. After I finished cooking, the family sat together. Chen Molly eagerly took a bite of meat. Soft, sweet, melts in the mouth. She was amazed at how well I cooked. Watching this girl eat, her face full of happiness, my mom sighed to herself. How heartless must her parents be to abandon such a beautiful and well-behaved girl? She decided to have her son find out more. If the girl really had no one, then their family would take her. Thus, dinner ended in a fairly pleasant atmosphere. Then I suggested taking Chen Molly to a nearby hotel to find a place to stay. But my mom was very unhappy. Why a hotel? I was confused. Our house only had 2 rooms. My parents had one, I had one. There was no way to let her sleep in the living room. But my mom said, who said there's only 1 room? There's clearly a storage room. After speaking, she squinted at me. After just 2 seconds, I understood. I could only say I would go clean it out for her. Silly boy, you misunderstood. Misunderstood what? Guests come first. Have you ever heard of making a guest sleep in a storage room? I was dumbfounded. I couldn't figure out who was the biological child. Under my mom's unyielding authority, I opened the storage room and silently cleaned it. Then I went to the living room to ask where the extra bedding was, but no one answered. After looking around the house, I was shocked to find I was the only one left. The 3 of them had gone out for a walk without me. After I had prepared the floor bedding for the night, I took a cool shower and lay down. Then I opened my phone to play some games and relax. But before long, footsteps and voices came from outside. I could tell they were back. Then my mom pushed the door open, looked at me, and surveyed the clean storage room. She praised it as not bad, but before I could feel proud, she continued, so this room is yours now? I was stunned. I asked what she meant. She just closed the door. Just then, Chen Molly sent a message, but I didn't reply and kept playing games. 2 minutes later, my door quietly opened, and a slender shadow sneaked in. Lu ran. Are you playing games with others online? The sudden female voice startled me, and I made a mistake. She had changed back into her own clothes, and sat directly on my floor bed. You were playing so seriously. Were you playing with some girl? I explained I was playing with my roommates. She looked satisfied. Then she asked curiously why my parents were so nice to her. Chen Molly nodded, not disgusted, and then said something unexpected. Luran, how about I sleep here tonight too? I was speechless. The sheets and comforter in her room were brand new. Why sleep on the floor? But Chen Molly smiled and said she had never slept on the floor before. so this floor bed felt more comfortable. With that, she lay down. I asked her again to confirm. She said she wasn't joking. Then I told her to lie down properly on the bed. Now she was stunned. After recovering, she blinked. Then how should I lie down? What position? I told her to lie straight. Chen Mali gritted her teeth, hesitated for a second, then did as I said, lying straight. Her face had turned red. The next second she was completely wrapped up in the floor bedding. Luren, put me down. What are you doing? Without saying much, I walked to my original room, placed the floor bedding burrito containing Chen Mali on the floor, took the sheets and comforter from the bed, and as I left, I told her that since she liked the floor bed, she could have it. Then I closed the door and quickly returned to my storage room, locking the door behind me. In my original room, Chen Mali angrily threw her phone on the floor bed. What's wrong? Did that brat bully you? My mom's concerned voice came from outside the door. Chen Mali took 2 deep breaths and said it was nothing. Then she lay back down on the floor bed. She didn't move back to the bed. She thought sleeping on the floor once in a while was a new experience. Besides, it was in the Big Bear's room. The next day at 6:30 I woke up on time, went downstairs, and started my 100-kilometer morning run. After Chen Mali woke up, my mom called her to eat. When I got home, my mom ordered me to take Chen Mali to the local scenic spot, Cloud White Mountain, and to climb to the top. She also told us, when you get to the top, make sure to visit the temple and pray. So I drove Chen Mali to Cloud White Mountain. At the foot, Chen Mali was amazed by the towering peaks. Then we began our climb. But halfway up, Chen Mali couldn't go on. I had no choice but to carry her on my back, all the way to the top. When we reached the Matchmaker Temple, it was already 1:30 p.m. Chen Mali pulled me straight toward the main hall. I was confused. Who was she so eager to pray for a match for? Chen Mali glared at me and left a sentence. I'm praying for myself. At a small stall, Chen Mali asked about the prices of red plaques and love locks. The stall owner said red plaques were 21 yuan each. Love locks came in 2 types, cheap ones, 25 yuan each, and expensive ones, 50 yuan each. Chen Mali immediately asked for 2 red plaques and 10 of the expensive love locks. The stall owner's eyes widened. I was also confused. Why buy so many? Chen Mali said proudly that she just wanted to buy them. She had too much money to spend. I was speechless. Rich girl with money to burn, nothing I could do. After paying with her phone, Chen Mali handed me 1 red plaque. These red plaques are for blessings. I heard from people around that the Matchmaker Temple on Cloud White Mountain is very accurate. Carve auntie and uncle's names on it and offer a blessing. At least then the climb won't be wasted. Hearing that, I thought it made sense. Then I took both red plaques from Chen Mali's hands. She looked surprised, but I just said, that's a secret, and went aside to carve. Chen Mali was very curious about what would be on the other plaque. Then, Chen Mali bought another red plaque and had the owner carve a line on the front and again on the back. After we hung up our red plaques, Chen Mali quickly pulled me into the main hall of the Matchmaker Temple. Meanwhile, outside, a passing couple looked at the love lock tree. Every lock on it said, Lu Ran and Chen Mali must be together, life after life, forever, never apart. 10 locks, 10 lifetimes. That's awesome. Honey, I'm jealous. I want 10 locks too. Inside the Matchmaker Temple, Chen Mali didn't know what was happening outside. After entering, she knelt before every statue, sincerely praying for this good match. I stood nearby, bored, scrolling through my phone. Then Chen Mali pulled me to the main deity of the Matchmaker Temple. Lu Ran, let's pray together. Praying in front of the matchmaker must be more effective than the red plaques and love locks outside, right? Hearing that, I thought it made sense. I had written a red plaque, so praying too was reasonable. But why did we have to pray together to the matchmaker? Couldn't we pray one by one? Before I could figure it out, Chen Mali forcefully pulled me down onto the kneeling cushion. With a thud, she knelt first. Since it had come to this, I knelt down too. We put our palms together, thought of our own blessings, and bowed. However, I was thinking of my parents, while Chen Mali, in addition to her parents, was also thinking of our relationship. I got up after 1 bow, but beside me, Chen Mali kowtowed 3 times. I was stunned. That was too devout. I asked curiously, doesn't it hurt? Not at all. Besides praying for my parents, I'm also praying for 2 other people. I was about to ask who, but she mysteriously said it was a secret. Then, Chen Mali took the incense she had bought outside the temple, and walked to the incense burner in front of the matchmaker deity. Just as she inserted the incense into the burner, and was about to bow, a loud, rumbling sound came from above and all around. The entire Matchmaker Temple seemed to shake. Cries from outside came. Then a series of loud crashes followed. The roof above the Matchmaker deity statue collapsed with a boom. The shaking and noise ended in an instant. Tourists who had fled from the temple and those outside stared in shock. At first they thought it was an earthquake, but looking more closely, they realized it wasn't. It was a mudslide on the hillside behind the temple. Under the heavy rain, many rocks, dirt, and trees had fallen onto the temple, causing the roof to collapse under the weight. Fortunately, only the innermost part of the temple was crushed. The vast majority of people had escaped. Currently, there were no known major casualties, just a few unlucky tourists, hit or scratched by falling stones and tiles, with minor injuries. Quick, call the police. Oh my God, how could this happen? If someone got crushed under that, they'd either die or be seriously injured. Wait, it seems like two people didn't come out, a particularly tall and burly man, and a very pretty girl next to him. Oh no, have the police been called? Let's quickly organize some people to see if we can rescue them. The area around the marriage deity temple became busy. Meanwhile, at the Lingnanyu County Emergency Center, because of the sudden heavy rain that day, several urgent situations had already occurred. A few firefighters who had just returned from outside chatted for a moment and took the chance to rest. But before they could even get comfortable, one firefighter's radio went off. The radio urgently called out. The firefighter known as Captain Lau responded immediately. Then he learned about the mudslide at the Yunbai Mountain Marriage Deity Temple and quickly called his team to go rescue. At that moment, more than 3 meters under the collapsed temple building, it was pitch black. You couldn't see your hand in front of your face. Suddenly, a beam of light shone, illuminating a few meters around. It was the glow of a phone screen. Chen Mali lay on the muddy ground, but aside from a little dust and small pebbles on her, she had no other injuries. The reason for this was that when the collapse happened, I had lifted a roof beam and blocked a lot of the falling debris. Lu Ran, are you okay? Don't worry, I'm fine. No need to call. People outside have definitely already called. Now we just have to wait for rescue. How long will they take? Given the terrain and weather, it will take a long time for rescue teams to reach us, and even longer to dig us out. Then, what do we do? I didn't answer. Instead, I started checking my own physical condition. Because the disaster happened so suddenly, I had broken a few ribs. But with my amazing recovery ability, they should heal quickly. Once I recovered a bit, I should be able to figure a way out. If we relied on rescue teams to succeed, it would take at least 2 or 3 days. I might be able to hold on, but Chen Mali probably wouldn't. Then I told Chen Mali to turn off her phone to save battery. She quickly agreed and turned it off. The atmosphere instantly became awkward. Lu Ran, you go first. No, you go first, senior. Good thing you don't have bad breath. Chen Mali, believe it or not, I'll bite you to death right now. Hearing her vicious words, I chuckled softly. What's so funny? Senior, you seem much more normal like this. Relax, I said quietly, because although she hadn't directly said she was scared, I could still feel the emotion from her words and expression. An ordinary person couldn't stay as calm as I did in this situation. Outside the ruins, 30 minutes had passed since the collapse on the summit of Yunbai Mountain. With the joint efforts of all the volunteers, 2 people buried at the edge of the ruins had been rescued. Out of the 7 known victims, 2 had been successfully saved. Staff had communicated with the emergency center several times. Rescue teams had already reached Yunbai Mountain and were in the process of climbing to the summit. But as everyone had expected, climbing Yunbai Mountain in the rain had become increasingly difficult. Even professionally trained rescue teams couldn't do anything about it. Another hour later, a 4-person rescue team hurried to the summit collapse site. They didn't carry much equipment. Clearly they had come as fast as possible to survey the scene. The leader was Captain Liao of the emergency center's firefighters. After looking over the mudslide and building collapse a few times, everyone's faces darkened. Captain, what do you think? Very troublesome. We'll have to wait for the rear team to bring thermal imaging and life detection gear, pinpoint the exact locations, and then design a rescue plan. Hopefully, no one is in the central collapse zone. That's the most difficult area. Liao looked at the collapsed building with deep worry, full of unease. But just then, a team member received a phone call. Then he looked at Liao with a strange expression. The visitor center called. They said 2 people are buried in the middle. One of them is a man with a very tall, fierce-looking build. Oh no. Could it be that guy? Liao's expression also turned strange. At that moment, I had just taken bread and bottled water out of my backpack, and eaten some with Chen Mali. Then my phone rang. I was wondering how there could be signal, but it turned out to be an emergency contact calling. I pressed the answer button and the speakerphone. "Lu Ran, where the hell are you, kid?" a voice shouted as soon as the call connected. "Captain Liao, since you're calling at this time, you must have reached the summit of Yunbai Mountain," I said helplessly. "Holy crap, you really are buried under the marriage deity temple. Ha ha ha, Captain, I told you it was him. Who would have thought? The rescue hero needs rescuing this time." "Alright, enough joking. Tell me about your situation." "Don't worry, I'm fine. About 15 meters southeast of me, there are two trapped people, a man and a woman, both young. Go rescue them first." The moment the building collapsed, I noted the general surroundings. It's an instinctive reaction when I'm in danger. "And what about you? Where exactly are you now?" Captain Liao asked. "Directly in front of the main marriage deity hall," I said. Hearing this, Captain Liao felt terrible. The other rescuers were also dumbfounded. They had originally thought my position would be manageable, not too hard to rescue, but they didn't expect that I had to choose the most difficult and dangerous spot in this entire collapse. "Isn't the main hall at the very back of the temple? Why on earth did you go there?" "Oh, I came with a friend, just a coincidence." "With a friend? To the marriage deity temple? Is that friend a girl?" "You guessed that too? Wow, you've only been in college a few days, and you've already snagged a girlfriend. So, when are you inviting us to dinner?" Listening to the conversation between us, Chen Mali, who was next to me, was so emotional, she almost cried. Finally, someone misunderstood. It had been so hard for her. "Don't talk nonsense. Dinner can wait until you rescue me. How long do you think it will take? If this weren't Yunbai Mountain, I'd guarantee to have all the trapped people out in 2 hours. But with all the special circumstances combined, it probably won't be until tomorrow morning at the earliest." "Tomorrow morning? What if it keeps raining?" "Well, we'll do our best." "All right, we've worked together many times. Go save the others first. I'm not in a hurry. Leave me for last." "Don't worry, even if you didn't say it, I'd still leave you for last." "Haha, just kidding. Be careful. I'm hanging up now. Call me if anything happens." Lao quickly finished and hung up. I sat cross-legged, closed my eyes, and rested to heal my injuries. By the next morning, the rescue team had just pulled out another 2 trapped people. But before the rescuers and the crowd could celebrate with joy, suddenly, an unusual change occurred not far away. With a loud rumbling sound, the ruins collapsed again. The key point was that the collapse happened precisely in the area directly in front of the main marriage deity hall. "Damn it, this is bad," Captain Lao swore. He immediately called my phone, but no one answered. Lao's fists clenched with a cracking sound. His eyes were red. He was clearly at a loss. He never expected a second collapse. "Captain Lao, is Lu Ran going to—" "We're launching an emergency rescue. Next rescue. Now. Immediately." "Captain, but we don't have heavy excavation tools or detection gear. Won't our own efforts make the situation more difficult?" "What time is it now? Every second counts between life and death. If we wait for the rain to let up and for helicopters to bring equipment, even the flowers will have wilted. We have no other choice. Besides, there are only those 2 trapped people. We don't have to worry about others. Just do our best to save them." "Have you forgotten who is under the rubble?" The team members froze, then suddenly snapped back to reality. "Right, the person under there is Lu Ran. When there's a flood, I can jump in empty-handed and pull people out. When there's a fire, I pour water on myself and charge in to save people. Even in earthquake rescues, my efficiency alone rivals an entire rescue team. How could a monster like that be trapped by a little collapse? Let's figure something out. Brother Li, dig from this side. Xiaochen, you dig from that side." But an hour later, the rescue team's progress was not as smooth as they had hoped. Captain Liao was getting anxious. He pulled out his radio to ask how much longer the backup support would take. Just then, a figure rushed straight toward them from down the mountain. Liao's first judgment, it was a woman. His second, she looked somewhat familiar. "Hey, isn't that Captain Ji from the Ningbai City Bureau? I think we did a joint operation with her a year ago. I remember her well." "Who's in charge here?" the woman demanded loudly. "I am, Captain Liao," he said, straightening up. "Don't waste words. Tell me, where are Lu Ran and the other trapped person?" "Where?" she shouted, her voice cracking. The woman who had rushed to the scene was Ji Meilian. Time went back to 3 days earlier. After learning about the amusement park incident, Ji Meilian had used her connections to gather all my information, from childhood to present, from detailed to simple. She began reviewing it bit by bit. As she looked, her eyes never once narrowed. She read the whole thing with her eyes wide open. Before the age of 14, I was ordinary, just like any normal child. But starting from 14, my life changed completely. I began to frequently do good deeds, from small things like helping people find lost items, to big things like helping the police dismantle criminal organizations. For example, the amusement park gang incident, and the previous capture of an A-level wanted fugitive. She used to think that I had just happened to be there by coincidence. But after reading the information, she realized this was practically my daily routine. After reading, she stared wide-eyed, unable to calm down for a long time. Her own daughter had fallen for someone like this. She didn't know if that was good or bad. But her impression of me had changed completely. This led her not to deliberately investigate the relationship between me and her daughter over the next 2 days. Her daughter was grown up. She thought it over and felt that she had indeed restricted her daughter too much. Loosening up for once might be a good thing. However, the day before the Yunbai Mountain collapse, the City Bureau and District Bureau had held an urgent joint meeting to deal with an extremely Guizhou Tufa Zhongquang. An undercover operative embedded in a criminal gang had suddenly been exposed, with only 1 week left before the final takedown operation. To avoid wasting 3 years of careful planning, the police urgently needed someone to replace the undercover operative. They only needed to last 7 days without being discovered. Yet the meeting had debated all day with no solution. Just as everyone was at a loss, Ji Meilian stood up. Their abilities are definitely on par with Special Forces elites. When faced with questions about the candidate's undercover temperament, Ji Meilian was full of confidence. This person is not from the police, so there's no risk of identity exposure. As for undercover temperament, I don't think anyone is more suitable than them. Ji Meilian kept them guessing. The group had no choice but to agree to let her bring the person back first. The candidate she proposed was none other than me. From the files, this university student's physical fitness was at the level of Special Forces elites. As for temperament, even without any training, thrown directly into a criminal gang, they would look more like a leader than the actual leader. Ji Meilian quickly used my phone signal to locate me and Chen Mali in Lingnan City. Then she snorted lightly and was about to go catch us when she received word of the Yunbai Mountain Marriage Deity Temple collapse. After learning this, she drove as fast as possible toward the summit of Yunbai Mountain in Lingnan City. I asked you, what is the situation with Lu Ran and the other trapped person? Captain Liao didn't know how to answer. He could only quickly pull out his radio to ask the support colleagues down the mountain how much longer they would take. But at that moment, several chunks of debris from the center of the collapse suddenly flew into the air. Then they fell randomly not far away. Then more chunks flew up. Finally, with a loud bang and a huge cloud of dust from the center, a powerful figure leaped several meters into the air, and then landed with a thud, surrounded by smoke and dirt. When the smoke cleared, Captain Liao and his team stared with wide eyes, because that figure was me, holding Chen Mali in my arms. Ji Meilian rushed over excitedly, and directly hugged her daughter. Yan Yan, Mom knew you'd be okay. From now on, Mom will really never push you again. Chen Mali, tightly held by her mother, hearing her words, had tears streaming from her eyes even though she was smiling. Thinking back to the danger she had encountered, without me there was no way she could have escaped on her own. Mom, it's my fault. I don't blame you. On the other side, Captain Liao looked at me in disbelief. Lu Ran, how did you get out? Liao still had an expression of utter incredulity. Captain Liao, do you really think a little collapse like this can trap me? I gave Liao a bear hug. Only after feeling that powerful, suffocating squeeze did Liao finally believe reality. Lu Ran was Lu Ran. The name monster really wasn't just for show. On the other side, mother and daughter had stopped crying. The affection in each other's eyes was clearly much stronger than before. Seeing this, I was happy for them. But if that was the case, the Great Escape side mission had failed, right? I had only collected 3 days of rewards. With a thought, I checked my side mission. But the next second, I was surprised to find that the Great Escape side mission was still in its normal state. No failure notice. Chen Mali had been caught by her mother, so why no failure notice? Did I misunderstand what caught meant, or had I triggered something? I studied it for a few minutes but still had no clue. However, it wasn't a bad thing. As I walked over to Chen Mali, Ji Meilian stepped forward. Just as I thought the strong-willed woman was going to settle accounts with me, Ji Meilian bowed deeply to me. You saved Yan Yan's life. We owe you a huge debt. Without my extraordinary abilities, she would never have seen her daughter again. Auntie, you're too kind. I just did what I had to do. I quickly stepped aside, my eyes avoiding hers. Having run off with Chen Mali, facing her mother now felt a bit strange. But then Jime Lian's next words truly surprised me. Lu Ran, could Auntie come to your home for a visit? My home? What for? You rescued Yan Yan from under the ruins. Can't Auntie come over to thank you properly? At that moment, she was extremely polite to me. If I hadn't seen this woman at the police station, I would have thought I had the wrong person. Yeah, Lu Ran, my luggage is at your place anyway. We can pick it up on the way back. During the earlier conversation with her mother, she had decided to return to university in a couple of days. For her now, being in school was better. I had no objection. Pick up the luggage and leave. At this time of day, I probably wouldn't run into my own mother. I remembered telling quite a few lies to my mom. The three of us rested for a bit and started down the mountain. The view after the rain was beautiful, but each of us was preoccupied with our own thoughts, none of us in the mood to appreciate it. I didn't walk fast. Earlier in the restroom, I had checked my fractured ribs in the mirrors several times and successfully reset them. Now I just needed to avoid strenuous activity and rest a few days for them to gradually heal. Jime Lian and Chen Mali mentioned several times on the way down that they wanted to take me to the hospital. This minor injury didn't need a hospital, but the two women were insistent. They made me go. The three of us took the cable car down the mountain, and Jime Lian drove me to the nearest hospital. After a series of examinations, the hospital's results shocked Jime Lian. I had 5 ribs with varying degrees of fracture, but miraculously, they had already realigned. Now they just needed to heal on their own. Jime Lian glanced at me and sighed inwardly. Truly, a monster's constitution. After the hospital, the next stop was my home. I thought for sure my parents wouldn't be home at this hour. But when I opened the door with my key, I heard a voice from inside. Who is it? Is it Daran and Ling Ling? It was my mother's voice. I was really startled. I didn't expect Mom to be home at this hour. Don't mention anything about the collapse. I don't want my mom to worry, I quietly reminded the two behind me. Don't worry, I definitely won't, Chen Mali said, with a smile. I understand. As a mother herself, she knew how terrible that feeling was. Mom, it's us, I called back into the house. Soon, my mom walked over. She had light makeup on, probably just finished. You two came back just in time. A few more minutes, and I would have been gone. Have you eaten? No? I'll make you something. She stopped mid-sentence when she saw the extra woman in the room. You are? Hello, I'm Ling Ling's mother. Thank you for letting Ling Ling stay at your place these past couple of days. When my mom heard that this woman was Yan Yan's mother, her expression changed in a very unnatural way. So this was the irresponsible woman who divorced and abandoned Yan Yan. Why was she here? Could she be regretting it and wanting to win Yan Yan back? A young girl of only 20. Can she withstand this kind of psychological torment? My mom's eyes narrowed, and she made up her mind. She would test Yan Yan's mother. If the answer wasn't satisfactory, she wouldn't let it go no matter what. Yan Yan had already suffered enough. She really couldn't bear to see her repeat the same mistake. Moreover, this girl was the first one in so many years who had a favorable impression of her son. That made it even more important not to let go easily. Oh, so you're Ling Ling's mother. Ling Ling is doing very well staying with me. She can stay longer. A few more days, a few months, a few years, it's no problem. I won't find it a bother. My mom had a smile on her face, but her eyes were sharp. Seeing my own mom in this mode, I couldn't help but cover my face with my hand and turn away. I was done for. Lying really wasn't a good thing. Mom must have believed that tragic story from a couple of days ago. Now the real person was here. What to do? What to do? On the other side, Jime Lian was completely confused. Why was Lu Ran's mother so hostile toward her? They were clearly meeting for the first time, completely unfamiliar with each other. Lu Ran's mother. Is there some misunderstanding between us? Misunderstanding? How could we have a misunderstanding? So, what exactly are you here for? She also gave Chen Mali a reassuring look, as if to say, Auntie has your back. Chen Mali blinked, full of confusion. Beside her, Jime Lian's smile stiffened. This is still called no misunderstanding? Lu Ran's mother looks like she's guarding against a wolf. She subtly glanced at her own daughter, only to see her daughter making faces and winking at Lu Ran's mother. Who knows what she had said about her, in front of Lu Ran's mother. Lu Ran's mother, I'm just here to take Yan Yan back to school. This child is too naughty. A girl he only knows how to play, Jime Lian said, forcing a smile. Yan Yan's mother, schoolwork is certainly important, but mental health is equally important, my mother said seriously and earnestly. Mei paused for a moment, then nodded emphatically. I understand. It was indeed my fault before, for not considering Yan Yan's feelings. After we go back, I will communicate with her properly. And so, Lu Ran's mother and Chen Mali's mother chatted like that, which left Lu Ran and Chen Mali dumbfounded. Was this the same Captain Ji she knew? Was this the same mother he knew? After more than 10 minutes, the two mothers had talked enough and become quite cordial with each other. Chen Mali then packed her luggage from Lu Ran's room. Lu Ran was quite satisfied with this. Finally, he could send this girl off and rest quietly for a few days. But just as Lu Ran was about to go back to his room to sleep, his mother grabbed him. You brat, where do you think you're going? Mom stared at him suspiciously. I'm going back to sleep. I barely slept last night. I'm exhausted, Lu Ran said with a yawn. Hearing this, Mom slapped him hard on the back. Sleep? Sleep what? Hurry up and pack your things. Go back to school. Mom, why should I go back? I already took several days off. Lu Ran looked confused. Excused? Why did you ask for leave? Military training right now is an important time to build friendly relationships with classmates. Making more friends is good for you. But what she really thought was, Yan Yan is going back to school. Why are you staying home? Such a nice girl, and you're thinking about sleeping? Mom didn't want to see him lazing around at home. Yan Yan's emotions were still unstable. After you go back to school, you two can look after each other. Mom dragged Lu Ran back to pack. Lu Ran's face was full of helplessness. Chen Mali's face was full of secret joy. She thought she wouldn't see Lu Ran for days. Now, it looked like they could see each other every day again. Mom saw all three of them to the door. You brat, take good care of Yan Yan at school. Don't let anyone bully her. Mom whispered a bunch of things into Lu Ran's ear. Lu Ran was used to this scene. Every time he left home, his mother did the same. After the mother-son conversation ended, Mom walked over to Chen Mali and whispered a few words. The two of them laughed and chatted as if discussing something happy, which gave Lu Ran and Ji Meilian the illusion that those two were the real mother and daughter. The three got into the car. Lu Ran was pulled into the back seat by Ji Meilian and Chen Mali, with the excuse that he was injured and shouldn't drive. Chen Mali had only gotten halfway through her driver's license test, so the task of driving back to Ningbei City fell to Ji Meilian. Under her mother's firm gaze, Chen Mali reluctantly chose to sit in the front passenger seat. Instead of immediately getting on the highway, they drove to a nearby shopping mall. Ji Meilian bought two identical phones, one black, one white, for the two of them. Lu Ran and Chen Mali's original phones had gotten wet and probably wouldn't be easy to repair. Suddenly a WeChat friend request came in. Chen Mali requests to add you as a friend. Lu Ran looked up from the back seat at the front passenger seat. Chen Mali shook her phone at me, clearly indicating it was her request. Lu Ran hesitated for 2 seconds. We've already met the parents, and he hesitates for this long over a WeChat request? She sent an instant message. Looking at the instant reply, Lu Ran smiled helplessly. I rarely use WeChat. I'm not familiar with it. That excuse is way too lame. But fine, never mind. Does your wound still hurt? It doesn't hurt. It's just a minor injury. No big deal. I'll be fine in a few days. You say that so lightly. How about I make you some chicken soup tomorrow and bring it to the camp? Don't go to all that trouble. Besides, can you even cook chicken soup in your dorm? You don't understand, little junior. Just don't send anything. I don't want all the other freshmen to hate me. The 2 cups of milk tea you sent last time already made quite a few people resent me. After sending that message, Chen Mali did not reply immediately. 2 minutes later, Lu Ran, have you looked at the campus forum these past 2 days? Chen Mali turned back from the front passenger seat and asked. Lu Ran gave her a puzzled look. They had been together the whole time. Shouldn't she know whether he'd looked at the forum? No. Lu Ran opened the forum page. The story behind freshman Lu Ran. The truth about Lu Ran being taken away by the police. He clicked on a few hot posts and laughed at the novel-like content, reading with interest. Can't those people who post fake rumors and slander others be caught and severely punished? Chen Mali asked her mother, who was driving. If it doesn't cause serious consequences or generate enough heat, basically you can't do much. At most, a verbal warning, Ji Meilian said. Chen Mali looked a bit disappointed. The big bear had done nothing but good deeds, yet these people slandered him. Lu Ran, should we contact the forum admin and ask them to delete those posts? Delete? Why delete? The innocent have nothing to fear. If you delete them, the suspicious people will become even more suspicious. After the hype dies down, it'll naturally stop, I said calmly. I read several posts in a row. Not a single person had even guessed half the truth. All right, I'll handle this matter. After all, our police department was also lacking consideration.
We shouldn't have called Lu Ran over in front of so many people,
G-Malian said at that moment. Chen Mali finally relaxed. G-Malian suddenly thought of something. Lu Ran, are you very familiar with the stock market? Not really. Why do you ask? Hearing this sudden question, I immediately perked up. Could it be that the unusual activity in my stock market funds had been noticed? Suddenly, Chen Mali interrupted the conversation, speaking urgently. Mom, the restroom. I need the restroom urgently. G-Malian glanced sideways at her daughter, then at the navigation. Still a few kilometers. Hold it. Then, drive a bit faster, Mom, Chen Mali said. G-Malian sighed, gave her daughter an exasperated look, stepped on the gas, and the whole car shot forward. Seeing that she had successfully changed the subject, Chen Mali breathed a long sigh of relief. So, if Mom found out that Lu Ran had told her about stock market trends, it must have been Dad spilling the beans. That would be bad. The person who knew about this was Sissy Boy, not the real-life her. So as Lu Ran noticed something off, her secret identity would be exposed. No way. Her spy account had to last until the very end. 2 minutes later, the car stopped at a service area. Mom, are you going to the restroom? Chen Mali asked. No. G-Malian picked up her phone, apparently checking some work files. Then Lu Ran, let's go to the restroom together. There are still 2 hours until we reach Ningbei University. Chen Mali blinked at me. I don't need to go, I replied directly. Chen Mali blinked harder. I really don't need to go. You really do, I frowned. Did she know whether I needed to go or not? Chen Mali was baring her little tiger teeth, silently mouthing the words, "Get out of the car," to me. I didn't react, just quietly watched her perform. Seeing this, she bit her lip, then carefully glanced at her mother. She changed her expression to a kitten-like begging face. Let's go together, okay? Her stare gave me goosebumps, but I still got out of the car. Who knew what this girl might do otherwise? The two of us got out and walked into the service area. As soon as they entered the service area mall, Chen Mali grabbed Lu Ran's hand. This made Lu Ran a bit uncomfortable. Officer G was still at the car. What if she saw? Don't worry, Mom is focused on work. She won't come over, Chen Mali said, with a smile. As long as you don't mind the loss, I said. After experiencing the collapse, I had become somewhat immune to this level of intimacy between us. Besides, holding Chen Mali's little hand was quite comfortable. Hee, no loss at all. So how about we meet every day and hold hands once? Is that too much to ask? Chen Mali leaned even closer. I shook my head speechlessly. This girl really pushed her luck. Not saying anything means yes. All right, I'm going to the restroom first, Chen Mali said, and ran off to the nearby restroom. I went to the men's room as well. After he washed his hands and dried them, a graceful figure directly jumped up and hung onto him. People nearby looked over, but only dared to glance once. With so many people watching, you really dare to hug me like this? I said helplessly. Otherwise, if I don't do it today, there won't be another chance after we go back.